Okay, let's talk about 2025. If you took a peek at your investment portfolio, you were probably feeling pretty good, right? I mean, the market was just on fire. It was an absolutely phenomenal year with some massive gains.
Just look at these numbers, they really speak for themselves. The S&P 500, it shot up almost 18%, and the Taiwan Stock Exchange, well, thanks to the AI boom, it surged an incredible 26%. You had tech giants like TSMC hitting these mind-boggling valuations. So, on the surface, everything looked golden.
But, and this is a big but, underneath all those glowing headlines, something really strange and frankly dangerous was starting to happen. Some of the most iconic, most beloved brands in the world were just quietly falling apart.
So what in the world is going on here? How can the market be booming while the very brands that for a generation defined a certain lifestyle are getting absolutely hammered? Yeah, we're going to break it down. Let's start with Lululemon. Get this, in 2025, its stock price was nearly cut in half, down 49%. Whoa, hang on, cut in half? No way, that can't be right. Lululemon is literally the official uniform of my entire neighborhood. How do you lose half your value when your product is everywhere?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? It feels completely backwards. And, they're not alone. Take a look at Starbucks. For seven straight quarters, their profit margins got smaller and smaller. This isn't just a bad month. This is a long, slow bleed for a brand that's supposed to be a daily ritual for millions.
And then you have the titan itself, Nike. In just 1 year, its market value plummeted by over $22 billion. Now, to put that into perspective for you, that's like taking 3 massive industrial corporations and just wiping them completely off the map. It's a staggering loss.
So, a yoga pants company, a coffee chain, and a sneaker empire. What do they all have in common? Well, they all got trapped in the single most dangerous place in the modern economy, the middle. With Lululemon, it's like the magic just vanished. They went from being this unique status symbol to just another brand. Their main products stopped innovating, and then the worst part, they started doing heavy discounts, which totally devalued the whole brand.
So basically, they're not special anymore, but they still ask for a special price. That's a really tough sell.
Exactly, and Starbucks got squeezed from both ends. They couldn't compete on price with these super efficient rivals like Luckin. But at the same time, their huge push for digital speed, for mobile orders, it completely erased that cozy third-place vibe that people used to pay a premium for. So they ended up being neither the cheapest nor the best experience. Nike's problem was just a classic case of a big strategy completely backfiring. They bet everything on selling directly to us, the consumers, and they cut out a lot of their retail partners. Well, guess what? Those same retailers then put all their marketing muscle behind up-and-coming rivals like On and Hoka. And then, to make it worse, Nike started mass-producing their so-called limited editions, which killed the very scarcity that made them cool in the first place.
Okay, so these stories, they aren't just isolated failures. They're all symptoms of a huge, massive shift happening under the surface of our economy. And analysts actually have a name for it. They're calling it the Great Bifurcation. The world is literally splitting in two.
And this is the core idea, the golden rule for this new economy, and it's this. Consumers will only open their wallets for 2 things, the absolute ultimate cheap or the absolute ultimate unique. Anything and everything in between is a death sentence. This table lays it out perfectly. On one side, you've got the champions of ultimate value. Think Costco, think Luckin Coffee. On the other extreme, you have the masters of ultimate uniqueness, like Hermès. And who's getting crushed in that no man's land in the middle? Lululemon, Starbucks, and Nike. No longer the most unique, and definitely not the cheapest. Now here's where this gets so much bigger. This isn't just about your coffee or your sneakers. This exact same force is fracturing entire national economies, and Taiwan is the perfect, and I mean perfect, case study.
Just look at this crazy disconnect. In 2025, Taiwan's GDP growth was a staggering 7.4%, fueled by the whole AI and semiconductor boom. But at the exact same time, domestic consumption, so how much people were actually out there spending, was completely flat. 0.
Wait, so the country is basically printing money, but nobody feels like they actually have any to spend? How does that even work?
Well, it works because the wealth isn't being shared. Even with that incredible national growth, about half of all workers in Taiwan earn less than the equivalent of $1,300 a month. All that new wealth is just concentrating at the very, very top,
in one specific industry, and it's leaving a lot of people behind. The nation itself is bifurcating.
Okay, so we've diagnosed the problem, right? The world is splitting, the middle is collapsing. The obvious next question is, what do you do about it? How do you actually survive and maybe even thrive in this fractured new world?
This right here is the key takeaway for 2026. The lesson from Nike, Starbucks, and Lululemon is painfully clear. Trying to be everything to everyone is a guaranteed recipe for failure. Indecision, being mediocre, that's the new kiss of death. You have to choose a side.
So the new playbook really has two simple rules. First, ditch the mass market. You have to pick a lane with absolute precision. You either need to be Costco or you need to be Hermès. Brands like Gucci that try to play in the middle, they get crushed. And the second rule, sell emotion. In an anxious world, it's not just about value anymore. People are paying for a feeling, for comfort. That's why sales of something as simple as a Jellycat stuffed animal are just exploding right now.
And let's bring this all the way home, okay? Because this isn't just for CEOs. This exact same logic applies directly to you and your career, especially as we dive headfirst into the age of AI.
Seriously, think about it. AI is getting terrifyingly good at handling all the standardized, repeatable tasks, the entire middle of the job market. So to stay relevant and to stay valuable, you just can't afford to be standard anymore. Your only real job security is in being irreplaceable.
And what that means is you have to double down, triple down on the human skills that AI just can't replicate. First, true creativity. AI is great at remixing what already exists. Your job is to originate something totally new. Second is empathy. AI has all the data, sure, but you have the feeling, the intuition to understand the context. And third, it's about asking better questions. AI is an answer machine. Your job is to provide the wisdom and the direction.
And this is what ties it all together. Whether you're a giant global brand or an individual professional, the lesson is exactly the same. In this new, fractured world, playing it safe in the middle is the single most dangerous move you can possibly make. Being average is the same thing as being invisible.
So we'll leave you with this to think about. As the world splits into ultimate value on one end and ultimate uniqueness on the other, you have to know where you stand. What is the one thing that makes you, or your skills, or your ideas truly irreplaceable?